Welcome back, and let's begin with some latest news coming in. These are sources which are indicating to us that in view of the G20, as many as up to 600, between 500 to 600 flights have been impacted. This would include cancellations and rescheduling airlines. The various companies who are in the airline business are still assessing an alternate plan. DIAL had already informed that over 160 flights will be cancelled. The numbers are likely to go up. That's what is expected. A lot of it is protocol, security and various other factors which are at play here, because the head of about 15 to 20 nations will be here in the national capital for the G20 Summit, which is all set to happen next weekend. We'll try and connect with my colleague Ridhima, who tracks the aviation sector for us, and get more details about this. But in the wake of the summit, which is set to happen, there were already predictions and there was already an understanding. DIAL had said that we'd have to cancel some flights. A lot of them might have to be rescheduled as well. But if we talk about the number of flights which have been affected so far, the number hovers between 500 to 600, and that's a huge number. T3, the international airport here, T1, T2, of course, air traffic in the national capital is very high. It is the busiest airport in the country, along with Mumbai. And if a summit of this nature is happening, there is security at various levels that has been tightened. That includes security in the skies, and to ensure that all sort of protocols or security methods or drills are followed. Let me check if Ridhima is with us on the broadcast and get more details on this entire story which is coming in right now. That's the story which is emerging at this point. Various airlines, various companies are trying to come up with an alternate plan. They are assessing the situation right now, and if there is some kind of rescheduling that can be done, would it mean more losses for the already bleeding aviation industry, or this is something which is more like a one-time problem that will happen and it can be managed around? We'll have to hear the experts on that one. But sources within the aviation industry tell us that about 500 to 600 flights may be impacted. This includes the flights which will be cancelled. This includes the flights which might have to be rescheduled, but the number is that high. And keeping in mind that it's over a weekend, that makes the number of flights which are affected much higher. Let me cut across to Ridhima as well, who will get us more details on the story. Ridhima, over to you.
Anusha, as you rightly pointed out, this is crucial for all those who were planning to travel between the 8th to 11th come next month. This is in view of the G20 Summit that will be happening here in the national capital. And this is something that we've reported in the past as well. And this was confirmed by DIAL as well, that there will be cancellations. But now what sources within various airlines are telling me that the cancellations and the rescheduling could look upwards of 600 to 700 flights during the time period of those 3 to 4 days, which means there will be a lot of inconvenience for passengers who were planning to travel during those days. Now, the reason earlier that had been reported was that there is lack of parking space. Now, DIAL has refuted these allegations, and their math is that they will just be cancellations of anywhere between 100 to 160. But as I pointed out, when you speak to various representatives of airlines, they're saying this number could be anywhere between 600 to 700. There is no official number that is still being put out. What is also important to note is at this point we don't have any guidelines that have come in as far as the Civil Aviation Ministry is also concerned. But Anusha, what will this mean for passengers is that till the last minute it's a possibility that they will not have any clarity. What this would also mean is there will be a network impact across the country as far as these cancellations and rescheduling are concerned. So what sources within almost all airlines now telling me that passengers should double check their travel plans, their itinerary before they reach the airport, because it's a possibility that there could be a lot of chaos as far as the airport also is concerned. As we pointed out, if you look at just the airline Indigo, FlightsPar has about 1900 flights on a day-to-day basis. So imagine an impact on a network like that. So now we're understanding anywhere between 600 to 700 flights could be impacted in those 3 to 4 days. Not necessarily meaning that 500 to 600 flights would be cancelled, but there is a possibility that these flights could be rescheduled, possibly to a later date or a later time as well.
Not necessarily cancellations, as Ridhima is pointing out, but they could be affected in some way or the other. Thank you, Ridhima, for getting us all the details.